7 examples that show why there is such a conspiracy to stop Elon Musk. Michael Snyder reports, politicians are screeching at the top of their lungs. There have been threats of extreme violence, and Washington, D.C. has never seen a tsunami of lawsuits of this magnitude. Amazingly, all of this is happening just because Elon Musk and his team are targeting waste, fraud, and abuse in our federal agencies. The left suddenly hates Elon Musk with a passion, and that's because he's coming after their money. It has now become clear that multiple federal agencies have been used as giant money laundering operations, and billions upon billions of dollars are at stake. If they cannot put an end to what Musk is doing, it will be an unmitigated financial and political disaster for the left, and many of them will likely end up imprisoned. The following are 7 examples that show there is such a conspiracy to stop, why there's such a conspiracy to stop Elon Musk. Number 1, last year Medicaid paid out more than $800 billion in benefits, and Social Security paid out more than $1.5 trillion in benefits. Unfortunately, it appears that vast amounts of money are being paid out through these programs fraudulently. In fact, Elon Musk is now claiming that the magnitude of the fraud in federal entitlements is greater than the combined sum of every private scam you've ever heard by far, he said. At this point, I'm 100% certain that the magnitude of the fraud in federal entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, disability, etc., exceeds the combined sum of every private scam you've ever heard by far. Just think about that. If Musk's claim is true, it's a scandal that's absolutely unparalleled in American history. At the White House, Musk told the press that there are people that are supposedly 150 years old that are still receiving Social Security payments each month. Re-examining of Social Security, we've got people in there that are 150 years old, Musk lamented during an impromptu press conference as Trump signed an executive order. Now, do you know anyone who's 150, the billionaire asked? I don't know. They should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's the case where I think they're probably dead, and my guess, or they should be very famous. One of the two, he concluded. In other cases, people that have no Social Security numbers at all are getting payments. Prominent Democrats keep warning their constituents that Elon Musk is coming after their Social Security checks. And in a twisted way, they are correct. It appears that vast numbers of people are illegally receiving Social Security checks each month. And if those checks suddenly get cut off, many of the left are going to be incredibly angry. Number 2, the Department of Education has always been a giant money-generating machine for the Democratic Party, and now Elon Musk has gone in and canceled nearly $1 billion in DOE contracts. Elon Musk has already saved nearly $1 billion after slashing contracts at the beleaguered Department of Education. Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has been combing through the embattled agency and has cut $982 million in spending so far. The bulk of that, $881 million, was saved by ditching 89 contracts dished out by the department's Institute of Education Sciences. Number 3, Elon Musk has revealed that retirement paperwork for federal employees is stored 230 feet underground in an abandoned limestone mine in Pennsylvania. Today we learned the absolutely insane process our government uses for federal employee retirements. You wouldn't think that would be anything special or weird, but it is. For some reason, back in the 1950s, our government decided that federal employee retirements should be processed in an abandoned limestone mine in Pennsylvania, 230 feet underground. What this means is that the speed at which federal retirement can be processed is literally limited by the speed of the single elevator shaft that goes down to that limestone mine. Elon Musk says that there is a literal limestone mine where they store all the U.S. government retirement paperwork built in 1950 that they need to go up and down every time they want to retire someone from the federal government. The speed in which they can retire people is limited by the speed of the elevator shaft. Yes, actually. Number 4, Elon Musk's team has discovered that $59 million was paid out last week to house migrants in luxury hotels in New York City. The Department of Homeland Security told Fox News that 4 employees are being fired today for circumventing leadership and unilaterally making the egregious payment for hotels for migrants in New York City. The firing comes after Elon Musk wrote on X on Monday that the Doge team just discovered that FEMA sent $59 million last week alone to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal migrants. Firing includes FEMA's chief financial officer, 2 program analysts, and a grant specialist, the DHS also said. Under President Trump and Secretary Noam's leadership, DHS will not sit idly and allow deep state activists to undermine the will and safety of the American people. Number 5, Elon Musk's team has also discovered that the Department of Health and Human Services has signed a $168,000 contract for an Anthony Fauci exhibit at the NIH Museum. The Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, canceled more than $180 million in contracts over 48 hours, including a nearly $170,000 contract for an Anthony Fauci Museum exhibit. In the past 24 hours, HHS canceled 62 contracts worth $182 million, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, announced in a Friday social media post. These contracts were entirely for administrative expenses. None touched any health care programs, and this includes terminating a $168,000 contract for an Anthony Fauci exhibit at the NIH Museum. Number 6, do you remember that scene from Office Space in which 2 consultants named Bob asked employees what they actually do at the company? Well, it sounds like that is precisely what has been happening at the General Services Administration. 3 General Services Administration employees, all of them spoke to Politico anonymously out of fear of retribution, describing their and their subordinates' recent interviews with Musk Doge agents as potentially career-ending, with federal employees feeling like every word they're saying could be grounds for future dismissal. The behind-the-scenes agency handles the federal government's real estate, software, and logistics, so Musk and his team's efforts to trim GSA could have a domino effect across the government. The interviews are anxiety-provoking, said a GSA supervisor whose employees were recently interviewed by a Doge worker. The tension swells the moment a worker receives a calendar invite from a Gmail account, and they said, frequently with almost no notice and often scheduled over existing client meetings. I'm sure that those interviewed were definitely anxiety-provoking. If you were making over $100,000 a year but are not really doing much that's productive, there's a very good chance that you will be on the chopping block. Number 7, on top of everything else, Elon Musk says that the Federal Reserve could soon be audited by Doge, which we know Federal Reserve is a private company. Now, billionaire Elon Musk on Sunday signaled that the Federal Reserve could face scrutiny as Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, continues to audit federal agencies and spending. Musk wrote on X in response to a user's post about the billionaire's support for an audit of the Fed that the central bank is not above scrutiny from DOGE. All aspects of the government must be fully transparent and accountable to the people, no exceptions, including, if not especially, the Federal Reserve, Musk wrote. If you don't understand why this would be a really, really big deal, please see my previous article entitled 11 Reasons Why the Fed Reserve is Bad. Fortunately, it appears that President Trump is quite pleased with Elon Musk's work so far. In fact, he just signed an executive order that gives the Department of Government Efficiency even more authority. With Musk standing to his right of the Oval Office, Trump praised the work of his office, known as the Department of Government Efficiency Service, DOGE, and Trump said he wanted Musk to now do more, even as DOGE faces multiple lawsuits from labor unions and Democratic state attorneys generals over whether it is acting within the law. The new executive order directs federal agencies to coordinate and consult with DOGE to cut jobs and limit hiring. According to summary provided by the White House, each agency will be ordered to undertake plans for large-scale reduction in force and limit hiring to only essential positions, the summary says. Of course, the more that Elon Musk and his team dig into the waste, fraud, and abuse, the more irate the left is going to become. All sorts of people have been making violent threats against Trump, and that includes a Baptist pastor in Tennessee. A Baptist church in Tennessee has taken down its website amid calls for its pastor to step down after a video clip surfaced in which he stated that sometimes violence is necessary when speaking about Trump administration's efforts towards fiscal transparency. Dr. Steve Caudle, Senior Reverend at Greater Second Ministry Baptist Church, GSMBC, at Chattanooga, delivered a sermon on Sunday in which he appeared to threaten the possibility of violence over the newly established DOGE and its ongoing investigations into misappropriation of taxpayer funding. As large numbers of fraudulent payments start to get cut off, there will be widespread chaos in the streets. People will be screaming that they want their entitlements, quote unquote, but the truth is that everyone that is legally eligible to receive them will still be getting their checks. Those that are illegally raking in money from the federal government every month are stealing from the rest of us. If we want Social Security, Medicare, and other programs to be there for us in the future, we must root out waste, fraud, and abuse. Otherwise, eventually the system would simply collapse under the weight of all the corruption that currently exists. And this is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is by Michael Snyder and about the author. Michael Snyder's new book entitled Why is available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books that are available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 70 Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he's always freely and happily allowed others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times that people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.